Hey, what's going on, beer lovers? Welcome to another episode. We are in Anaheim, California because there's a new brewery in town, and this place might look a little bit familiar to some of you who have seen all of our episodes over the last few years. We are at Radiant Brewing Company. So if you guys are ready, let's have some beer. Hey, welcome back to another episode, beer lovers. If you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button. And if you guys got a beer in your hand, you're gonna be drinking with us, give us a thumbs up. We are at Radiant Beer Company in Anaheim, California. They literally just opened this week, and we're here to take you around, show you what they're all about, and of course, we're gonna drink a lot of really, really good beer. So if you guys are ready, crack open your cans, and let's have some beer.
I'm Director of Brewing at Radiant Beer Company in Anaheim, California. So Radiant Beer Company, we got started at the end of 2020. It's me and my business partners, Cambria and Jonas. We took over an existing brewing space, a brewery that went out of business just before COVID. Our background and how we got to know each other is that we worked at the brewery for a bunch of years. Brewery being the one over in Placentia, BRUERY. And we came together, we saw this space as an opportunity, and we took it over and started making beer, and now we're open. Yeah, so the name Radiant, obviously there's thousands and thousands of breweries out there, so actually coming up with the name took quite a long time, several weeks, many Zoom calls, but we settled on Radiant because A, it wasn't taken yet, which is great. And also we really like the idea of sending out light, sending out positive messages, positive vibes, sending out great beer. So that's kind of a bit of background on the name. As far as beers that we're making here, we're mostly focusing as far as total production on hoppy beers and lagers, very drinkable, bright, vibrant, aromatic beers. But we're also doing some more esoteric stuff as well. You can see there's some barrels behind me. We've already started filling those with some stout and some barley wine. But overall, our goal is to be making really, really highly drinkable, bright, memorable beers. So my background before being the Director of Brewing Operations at Radiant is that I was the innovation manager for the brewery for 8.5 years. And at the brewery, we were putting in about 165 different beers into bottles and cans every year, and another 100 or so off the pilot system, which I also managed. My job there was recipe design and development, so I was coming up with the better part of 300 beers a year. That said, I was doing that for the brewery. I was keeping in mind their flavor profile. I was working with Patrick Brewer, the owner, and several of the other leadership team members, and we'd come up with either a concept or a flavor profile that we wanted to go for, and I would reverse engineer that in keeping with the brewery's branding, flavor profile, house profile. Here at Radiant, I still create all the recipes and brew them, but I'm creating those with a different mindset with what we have at Radiant. Our message of sending out light and just sort of that ethos. So that is sort of the background on how the beers get created. I'm used to creating hundreds of different types of beers, but the difference here is that we're doing it with a different flavor profile in mind and a different branding in mind. The beers I usually gravitate to that I've made are usually the ones that are lower alcohol because I can drink more of them. But yeah, definitely the lower alcohol flavorful beers such as our wit beer blend Slate, Forward Motion, our pale ale. Those are just really fun, nice, easy drinking beers. They're still really, really interesting and characterful and make you want to take another sip. We'd love to have you down at Radiant. We actually had our first opening weekend of patio service this last Friday. People seem to be stoked. We have a wide range of beers from hoppy and flavorful to light and crispy to a bunch of really fun stouts that you can only get here that are treated with all sorts of sort of whimsical ingredients that I think are pretty tasty. We're one exit away from Disneyland off the 5, so once Disneyland reopens, that'd probably be a reason to be in the area. But if you're anywhere close to Anaheim, which is a great beer town, please come by and check us out.
Alright guys, so I have Recommissioned Lager, which, woo, look how clear that is. That was beautiful. I haven't asked, but I'm pretty sure the joke on this Recommissioned Lager, a lot of the guys here have worked at the brewery at some point in time. One of their employee beers that they don't really sell to the public was actually Decommissioned Lager. So I'm pretty sure this is kind of like a fun spin on that, and you know what, I'm about that. As a fan of the brewery, and a fan of lagers, yeah. Oh, also this smells just beautiful. It's very like floral, you can smell it's got that crisp, like it'll be a bit dry, it's not going to be too sweet, but the aroma is just like delightful. You know, actually not too dry. But, oh man, flavor hits the palate, mellows out, and it makes you want to drink more. Which, on this channel, we like those beers where you just keep going for more. This is one of those you can keep going for more.
All right, so my first beer is actually going to be a dry hop lager. This is called Inherent Good, 5.5%, and it uses Sapphire and Hallertau Mittelfrüh. I actually did a review of this beer on my Instagram channel, so if you follow me there, I kind of go over a lot of stuff with this, but anyways, I really enjoyed it, so I'm going to enjoy it again and kind of talk about it again. So here we go. Cheers. Yeah, that's beautiful. So the aroma's got those nice, delicious, bready notes from the malts, but you also get a hint of like lemon peel, a little floral aspect, and then in the body itself, you get a decent amount of hops, but it's not bitter. If you're afraid of hops and bitterness, it's not overwhelming. It's just enough to kind of add a little oomph to an already really great lager.
All right, so this here is going to be Forward Motion, a 5.6% hazy pale, which, you know, on here we really love beers that are very hop forward, very flavorful, but also low ABV and aren't going to get us messed up. That's basically this one right here. We're actually going to have some Forward Motion on this channel because we won't be too messed up. All right, so it's got a really great aroma, hell of a lot of hops. I'm really curious to see, if I have time, we're gonna see if we can ask the brewer the difference in hopping between like the pale versus their IPA, because it's a lot going on. So I do really wonder what the difference is other than like, the malt bill. Ooh. Plenty of flavor, definitely a smaller body than, an IPA, but I mean, other than that, there's not a whole lot of difference between a full IPA. Just lighter, yeah, more refreshing, easier to drink. I could definitely chug one of these. I don't think it would be much of a problem. It's a really nice smell. It's one of those car freshener kind of beers.
In a world full of hazy IPAs and bourbon barrel-aged stouts, Radiant has made a wit beer. That's right, folks, wit beers are not dead because Radiant decided to not let it die. This is called Blank Slate. It is a 5.2% wit beer. It's got that nice, like, just really light color, mellow haze. Time to dig in? All right, so the nose kind of smells like bubblegum, like a fruit chew, or like just that pink bubblegum that you had as a kid. When you dig into the beer itself, it's got great notes of like coriander, chamomile, some lemon, just that nice mix of like spice and citrus, but it's very light. This is very, very light. I'm not complaining about it. That's more of a compliment. This is something where if I had like a 6-pack of it on a hot day, I would probably drink the whole damn thing myself.
All right, so here we have a beautiful, clear, lovely head retention West Coast IPA. And so now both Jeff and I have had several of their beers already. Radiant makes really good West Coast IPAs. They are definitely in that kind of new school of really bright, aromatic, hoppy, citrusy, just bright floral, just big hop bursted West Coast IPAs that are just crystal clear. I can see the freeway sign on the other side of a glass. Oh. This we have right here is called Term of Art. It is a 7% West Coast IPA, and it's done just really well. It's got in that sweet spot of being bitter without being too bitter. It doesn't really linger on my tongue. I don't feel that, like hop palate fatigue. I can easily have 2-3 of these. I would feel it, but my palate will be fine. This is a welcome addition in this area. I think especially as everyone's kind of getting tired of hazy IPAs, it's nice to go back to a West Coast, but also a West Coast that's done right. And that's not always the case sometimes. This is. So, cheers guys.
Well, we wouldn't be in an Orange County brewery if we didn't have a hazy IPA, right? And loud cars, because, some people. All right, so this is a hazy IPA. It is called Becoming More Real, 6.6%, and it's brewed with Citra, Mosaic, and Cashmere, so all very popular, well-known hops. This was the first beer I tried from this brewery, so I'm excited to talk about it again. Cheers. So when it comes to the aroma of this, hold on. When it comes to the aroma of this, you're getting nice citrus fruit and you're getting tropical fruit. I'm getting mostly like tangerine, orange, a little peach, but then I'm also getting a little pineapple, papaya, maybe some stone fruit in there as well. The flavor itself is so nice because it's got a really silky mouthfeel to it. It's creamy, it's soft on your palate. It doesn't just blast your palate with flavor. It kind of gives you time to enjoy it and let it really like work itself out. And then it just finishes nice and clean. But I mean, when it comes to just fruity, hazy IPAs, I mean, they knocked this one out of the park. It's everything I'm looking for in a hazy. All right, the next beer up is another hazy. This one's a double. It's called This Is Happening, 8.5%. It's made with Mosaic, Strata, and Amarillo hops. Definitely a lot more dank tropical fruit on the nose. Candied pineapple. A little grassy too. Yeah. The flavor's identical. If you're one of those people that really like those dank, hazy IPAs, this is right up your alley. It's earthy, but it's also just like overripe fruit. Definitely pineapple would be the primary one I'm getting out of this. Maybe a little bit of citrus fruit as well. I think of those little candies that I had as a kid, the orange ones. It kind of gets me some of that reminiscence too. I just love hazy IPAs. What can I say?
Alright guys, so we finally entered unknown territory. We're at the stout part. Never had any stouts from Radiant. I'm really hoping they're good. And this one is called Finding Joy. Bet you can guess what's in here. Toasted coconut and almonds. It's at 8.6%, so not like a too crazy of a stout yet. I can definitely smell those coconut and almonds. It smells almost chewy, which that's, you know. Ooh, yeah. Sweet without being too sweet. Really like nice smooth mouthfeel. It's big without being like boozy at all. It's all just like melted candy bar flavor. With like just a little bit touch of dark chocolate, but not like that dusty cocoa kind of bitterness thing. It's just really smooth, very easy to drink. Once again, if you were into chugging stouts, this would definitely be one that would be pretty easy. Yeah, cheers.
All right, well, we have another stout. This is another pastry stout. It is called Love Actually. It is 10.8%, and it says notes of Ecuador Cayapas river nibs and Tahitian vanilla beans. I get the Tahitian vanilla beans, but river nibs I'm guessing is a type of chocolate, because it says nibs and cocoa nibs. But anyways, let's dig in. Cheers. Ooh, lots of rich, raw, dark chocolate on the nose. I don't get a ton of vanilla. Oh man, it smells like you just walked into a chocolatier shop. Let's dig in. Oh, sheet thick. Oh man. All right, this is a very decadent chocolate pastry stout. The vanilla's there, but it's more, I think, to elevate the chocolate flavors more than anything else. But man, that chocolate, it takes me back to when I went to Bruges and I was actually walking into all these fancy chocolate shops, and just the aromas, and they hand you like samples of their freshly made chocolate. Oh my God, this is fantastic. Woo. Well guys, I'm down to my final beer, and it's another pastry stout. This one is called Crazy Squares. It's 10.8%, and it's made with Cinnamon Toast Crunch, locally sourced at your neighborhood grocer. It's dark as hell. It's got some decent head retention on it. On the nose, you're getting a lot of cinnamon for sure. Chocolate and slight coffee notes. The cinnamon's really good though. It's not like that sharp cinnamon, it's more like mild, so it's not like overpowering your nose. Oh my, oh my. Give me a second.
Yeah, renovation that just kept on going.
Okay. That is delicious. That's I don't really have much else to say. Cinnamon Toast Crunch in a pastry stout. It's delicious. Perfect balance of that like cinnamon Toast Crunch cereal flavor and the chocolate. 10.8%. It is rich, so you know it's probably a bigger beer, but that's dangerous because it's so good. I wish I could give you more description, but in all honesty, it's a pastry stout with Cinnamon Toast Crunch that's really, really good. If you make it here and they have it and you don't order it, you're doing yourself a disservice because it's bomb. Really good.
All right, so last up, certainly not the least, is Breakfast Egg Pastry Stout with, you guessed it, coffee and maple syrup, which I'm pretty glad that Jeff left this one for me because that's like things I have probably way too often for myself. It's also another beer at 10.8%. So another thing that we forgot to mention, these last 3 pastry stouts, they're all beers designed for barrels. So they are on tap right now to be drunk fresh, but they're designed and meant to be drunk much later after being put in bourbon barrels. So that is one reason why they are thick with 3 C's, is they just need to be, right? And another reason why they're heavily adjuncted, because this is something that's going to be combined with bourbon, right? And that big oak flavor. And there's a lot of adjuncts in here. And she's thick and velvety. Woo. They also use Chapman crafted coffee in this, which, if you guys know me, I love Chapman and I love their coffee. I love when they put it in beer, and when somebody else puts it in beer, it's still good. It works. It's just a good. You're working with good coffee. You put it in good beer, you're gonna get a good result. This is delightful. The maple syrup isn't too overwhelming, but neither is the coffee. They actually work pretty hand in hand, like not overpowering each other, and yeah, nicely. I'm really curious to see what these last 3 beers will be like once they've been in the barrels for a while.
All right, guys, so Jacob and I tried all the beers that they offer here at Radiant right now, and we're going to tell you which ones our favorites were. This is a tough decision. This is one of those breweries where it's like picking your favorite child. It's just really hard because I was telling Jacob this on the way here. This is one of those breweries where all of their beers are consistently good.
Yeah.
And they all serve a purpose, and there's enough variety to where really it comes down to what you're in the mood for. It's kind of like a music album of an artist. It's just timeless, you know. And so that makes picking our favorite very difficult. I would say at the end of the day, probably the most enjoyable one for me is probably going to be Becoming More Real. I just really like the hop profile on that hazy IPA. It's delicious. It was the first one that I tried from this brewery, so it stands out to me. But if I'm being honest, if I could get a full pour of a beer right now, I'm going big. I'm going with Crazy Squares. So I'm going to go ahead and say that that's going to be my beer of the day. That just the Cinnamon Toast Crunch flavor, the richness of it. I didn't drive, so I don't have to worry about getting too messed up. And I'm having a great old time. So it's like, man, Crazy Squares, Crazy Jeff. I might take my top off and start dancing on tables. So, I mean, let's do it. Let's get crazy. So yeah, Jacob, what about you?
Well, with that,
Top that.
I think my actual favorite beer was a really hard call, but at the end of the day, I wanted something that I could drink a couple of, especially because I felt like last year's summer was just so gross and hot. I'm like preparing my own beer palate for this summer. That's going to be Inherent Good, the dry hop lager. I had it before here, and then having it again, like it's just delightful. It's really good, nice, crisp, and I know it's something that I'm gonna pick up. I'm gonna pick up a pack of it, if not 2, and I'm gonna drink them throughout like the week, or have multiple in a weekend. And it's something I can share with other craft beer people, or even people that are just kind of into IPAs, but not really. It's something that's a pretty easy like bridge. So yeah, it's just good.
Well, there you have it, guys. That is our reviews of Radiant Beer Company. We're actually going to probably drink more beer, but also Cambria is going to have us tie-dye some shirts right now, so we're going to go do that. And then we'll see you for the outro. All right, my dudes and dudettes, that's going to do it here for Radiant Beer Company. Thank you so much to Cambria, Andrew, Katie, Jeff, Ryan, Jonas, anybody else that I'm forgetting. This is a great old time. We had some amazing beer. I hope you guys enjoyed watching. I got to tell you, when it comes to new breweries in Anaheim, the bar's set very, very high, and this is one of those places that easily exceeds it. I'm really looking forward to all the beer that they're going to be putting out in the next few months.
Especially that barrel-aged stuff.
They've only been open for a week, guys, and I swear to you, all of their beers are consistently delicious, and there's just about something for everybody here.
So we are here early. They're still doing a lot of decorations, adding new things, making things even nicer. So when you guys come here, most likely it'll look just even better than when it was when we were here. So that's kind of why we're so excited, is this early step is already so much everything in the right direction. We can only imagine once they've been on their feet for a little bit more and hit the ground running a bit more, it can only go up. That's what it really seems like, and I just hope they can just maintain it, because this is a really good spot to be. Let's keep that going.
Now, guys, if you enjoyed this episode, please give us a thumbs up, share with your friends, let them know about this new brewery in SoCal, and if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. We appreciate the support, and it encourages us to make more episodes like this one. So until next time, I'm Jeff.
And I'm Jacob.
And we'll see you again on Let's Have Some Beer. Cheers. Today we are reviewing a beer from Bottle Logic Brewing. This is part of their new smoothie beer series. Jacob and I have not tried any of their smoothie beers yet, but apparently they're a big hit. So come along with us and stay tuned.